Jesus had told his disciples in Acts 1 verse 7, where he had said, it's not for you to know the times and seasons that the Father has put in his own authority. In other ways, there are certain things concerning timings of certain things that God, in his wisdom, he has decided to reserve and say, this knowledge is for me only. So it's more like the Father has put a boundary and said, I permit you to be here in this place, but this is the boundary. Don't come here. This is reserved for me only. And what happened with the rapture prophecies, all the people who ran after this rapture prophecy, you actually stepped over the boundary the Father has put, and you crossed over into things he has reserved for himself. So you were in rebellion. So I don't think people are supposed to trivialize it and say, no, nobody needs to apologize. Or I don't think people are supposed to trivialize it and say, oh no, but we had our dreams. God doesn't test people with lies. The only time God hands people over to lies, it's when they refuse the truth. He allows demonic spirits to deceive them. And that's where the dreams came from. That's how deception works. That was the source of the dreams. Once you reject the truth, something else comes in. Remember that Jesus in John chapter 4 verse 43, remember that he said that you have rejected me. I came in my Father's name, but you rejected me. The one who comes in his name, you will accept him. That's how it works. If you reject Jesus, you have to accept somebody else. If you reject the words of Jesus, you have to be convinced in someone else's words. So by running after this thing that the Father has put in his own authority and said, not even the angels know, not even the Son knows, only the Father. But people stepped over the boundary that the Father has put and said, no, but we know, we can crack the code, we know how to do these calculations, and we also have this other person whom God told, God contradicted his word and told them. And it has been proven that it was a lie. Nobody knows. You can't know it. The Father has reserved it as his own knowledge, and you cross over to very dangerous territory. It's like what happened when people wanted to build the Tower of Babel. That's exactly what we just witnessed. God struck those people with confusion, and that is the confusion that we're seeing right now. That has brought so much pain, so much confusion. Like God just strikes you down once you cross over into his territory where he hasn't permitted you. People have to recognize that it was actual deception. That is the only way you will be free. You will not be able to fall for the next deception. But if people are going to hold on and say, oh no, but what about our dreams? You are now exalting your dreams above the word of God, forgetting that even Satan can give you a dream. You remember that the word of God says in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 11, that when people had no love for the truth, God gave them over to a strong delusion. That is exactly what we just witnessed. That was the source of the dreams. It was a delusional spirit. That was why nobody could really talk sense into these people who are running after the rapture prophecy. No matter how many scriptures you may give them, they will just say, I believe Mr. Joshua. I believe Mr. Joshua. Because as soon as they rejected the words of Jesus, they were punished to believe a lie. That's how it works. You have no love for the truth, God gives you a strong delusion. Remember in the time of Micaiah, when the king didn't want to hear what God really had to say, God sent a lying spirit in 400 prophets. They all prophesied one thing, but it was a lie. It was all a lie to make sure the king perishes. This is what we witnessed. As soon as these people disregarded the actual words of Jesus, where he said no one knows the day, not even the angels, not even the Son, only the Father. But then they went after somebody who told them, oh, I actually know. They failed to test the spirit. God gave them over to a spirit of delusion, and that spirit operates by convincing you further of the lie. It will give you dreams. It will give you visions. It will set up a lot of coincidences around you. But the fact of the matter is, you are in prohibited territory that the Father has reserved for himself. And once the Father casts you down in embarrassment to show that you are not as wise as you think, you don't actually know what you think you know. So now people are left in this confusion and saying, no, how can all that be coincidences? That was a delusional spirit at work in your life. It's the same spirit that gave even the little children the dreams. It was the job of the adults around them to test the spirit. When the child comes to you and tells you a dream, you were supposed to go to the Word of God and compare and guide the child and say, no, this dream wasn't from God. Listen to what the Word of God says. So this is why we witnessed all this. But I really think that it's really important for people to know that it was actual deception, not just a small mistake like people are making it. It was actual rebellion of stepping into the territory the Father has reserved for his own knowledge only. And so one